Wants to.
Can we ask?
Sure you can. Of course you can. You know, at all times, everybody knew that there was going to be a potential reduction in the amount with the feds. I was a little surprised, as you were, at the size of the estimates from the FNA. We've been, in fact, I think you've gotten, we looked some stuff up, you've even got some emails about this from the FNA while all this was going on, but to my knowledge, nobody ever put an exact number or a figure to it. But we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Is that a mistake?
No. Well, no, there was always a contemplation that depending upon how big or how sure the federal tax was imposed, it would also have an impact. That was talked about at all times.
You've got $86 million worth of new programs.
It's more than that. It's 180 because there's a whole lot of federal match in there. But as you will recall, what we said is this is general revenue, and it'll rise and fall with everything else in general revenue. The only thing that is sacred is K through 12. Everything else is subject to the rise and the fall of general revenue. We all have to live with that.
So some of those,
except K through 12.
Some of those health programs in the health plan might not be funded.
Oh no, I think everybody's going to be funded. They may be funded at 93% of what they thought they were going to get, 91% of what they thought they were going to get. It depends on how much we use, at least for the shortfall, the one-time money to be able to handle the one-year downturn.
When did you get that number that you'd be about, I guess, 100
I got it
short?
about last Friday.
And how shocked
and
were
I
you?
told the House and Senate leadership about it Sunday, so I kept it from them 2 days. That's when I was given the numbers by DFE.
What was your reaction to it? I mean, were you
I was not happy. I'm not happy with any of the numbers, but they tell the truth. I mean, that's their job. Their job is to tell the truth. And they did, and they warned us about this all the way back during the debate too. They just didn't have, to my knowledge, there wasn't a specific quantifiable number. It was a warning about it was going to be less if the Fed tax passed. It wasn't a quantifiable number. But you know, I didn't like the $100 million adjustment from the November numbers either. But here's the kicker. DFNA, their orders from me to them. You tell it like it is. No matter whose ox gets gored. And we'll live with that, one way or the other. Don't shade it. Don't shade it up. Don't shade it down. They gave me 3 sets of numbers. I took the middle one. I gave a low, a high, and a middle, and I said, let's take the middle one. Really, between the low and the high, they weren't that far apart. But I think it's better to know as soon as you can know, far in advance up front. I hope they're overly pessimistic. In fact, the Bureau of Legislative Research budget folks are typically more liberal than our DFA folks. And I hope he is, and I hope they're right. But, you know, it's a forecast for the period starting July 1. You don't know what's going to happen. I always say prepare for the worst and get better.
You held off on signing your grocery tax until you got these new numbers?
No, the grocery tax was always contemplated in the budget. And look, these new numbers are only about $40 million off what you thought they were going to be. Because we were going to use about 60 for the Medicaid, to plug Medicaid. And now, with the stimulus, we don't have to do that. In fact, that ties your Medicaid over for longer than a year. And so, what you're really talking about is about 40, and some of that 40 probably will go into some of the initial capital requirements and requests for trauma and the healthcare initiatives.
To follow up on Seth's question, though, you've got this healthcare package, you got it passed, you're going to fully fund it.
We're going to, no.
Yeah,
it's not,
it might be 91, 93%.
Yeah, we're not going to pick.
Fully.
Yeah, we're not going to pick one program out and kick it out.
Okay.
And favor another program.
Okay.
When we say we're going to fund all of them, we're going to fund all of them. We're not going to
be at the level.
It's
okay.
a general revenue. It's just like everybody else. If general revenue covers 94% of that cost, they'll get 94% of the money. The only sacred cow is K through 12. The only folks who get held harmless over the rest of the world is K through 12. Everybody else rises and falls with rising and falling revenue. Does that clear that up?
That answers my question.
Anything else?
There have been some, not many, there have been some legislators who have said that this should have been known earlier, and that it was,
What should have been known?
that it wasn't gonna raise $86 million.
Well, I knew about the number. They did know that it might not raise 86 if they were listening, because you all reported it and we talked about it at the time based upon there being an impact from the Fed tax. What they didn't know and what I didn't know was any specific amounts. They knew about the amounts within a few days of me knowing about the amounts. At least the leadership did. The rest of it was revealed this morning to the body as a whole within a week, I'd say, when I knew about it. I think it was last of last week when I got the specific number. We don't keep it from them. We tell them as soon as we know.
One last, if anybody, there was a task force made of members of each chamber who worked on this a long, hard time.
Sure.
Would any of y'all like to say something?
Well, yeah, let anybody else talk that wants to talk.